Hey guys, how's it going? It's Thang and welcome back to another build guide video for the monk. And in this video we are looking at the pretty much updated version of the Fire Spirit generator for patch 2.4, and as you know I'm on the PTR, which means that anything can change before it hits live server, but I don't believe it will. Maybe a little tweak here and there for the inner mantra stuff. So as you know, in patch 2.3 there was this Fire Spirit generator. It was great, but it didn't excel as well in the greater rifts because of its lack in defensiveness. So with patch 2.4 everything now is built around inner mantra. So now the Fire Spirit generator pretty much uses inner mantra, and this is where we're gonna get our increase in damage and increase in toughness and increase in healing and everything in between. And it's really cool and awesome as well. You're seeing the little video right here that I'm playing in Greater Rift level 70. I only have 1,000 Paragon levels. I have 1,070 whatever. My gems are only 66, 67, 68, and I have none of my ancient item augmented as well, and maybe, you know, a few of the stats are not favorable to me, but pretty much a really good build, really good solid build so far. And hopefully that it works with you. Anyways, we'll go into the gears that you need and the gems, the Kanai cube, skills, and paragon levels and why it works. And those of you who already know how it works, it's pretty much a shift in gears, and that's about it. So have a look and we'll get into it, right? So welcome back, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that little demo video. That is pretty much an updated version of the Fire Spirit generator for patch 2.4. So as you're seeing right now that's on me, that's equipped, is what you're used to seeing in the live server for patch 2.3. That is the old setup gears, and what you're seeing down there is pretty much the new one. So we're gonna put them on, and then we're gonna go into stats priority first and then the set bonuses. Okay, so let's put this on right now. That is so much quicker than before. There you go. That is what it looks right now. That is the new configuration for the Fire Spirit generator. So for stats priority, we want cooldown reduction and life on hit to be the top two priority stats. Cooldown reduction means that we can spam more things, more skills like Epiphany, and then life on hit is pretty much your healing mechanic, where the more you hit, the more you heal. And because we are going to be hitting very fast, means that we're going to be healing quite a lot. So those two are top right there. Then you're going to have critical hit chance, and then critical hit damage, and then sockets. And then you may want to look into attack speed, because you want your attack speed to be at least 1.92, 1.94. that is the cap right there. And then lastly is life percentage and all resist. So that is your stats priority. So let's go into the set bonuses. We are going to be looking at the inner mantra first because it's really cool. I did a showcase video of this, and it's pretty much what a lot of builds are going to be based around. So for the 2 set piece bonus, increase the passive effect of your mystic ally and the base effect of your mantra by 100%. And then number 4, gain the base effect of all 4 mantras at all time. So here we go. I have all 4 mantras right there. I have conviction, retribution, salvation, and healing right there. So usually mantra of conviction will increase damage. Nearby enemies take increased damage by 10% only, but because because of the 2 set piece bonus, now it's double, so it's 20% instead of 10%. So that is really cool itself. And also your Mystic Allies passive powers increased as well by 100%, so it's doubled. So usually the Fire Ally gives you a 10% bonus increase in damage, but now it's 20%. So that's pretty cool. So the last part is actually much cooler, and this is why we're using it. So it reads, gain the 5 rune Mystic Allies at all times, and your damage is also increased by 50% for each Mystic Ally you have out. So that means that 5 times 50 is 200% increase in damage right there. So that's pretty cool. But you also gain all their powers, and that is pretty awesome itself. So that is why the Inner Mantra set piece is really good for patch 2.4. But not only that, we can actually have the Credits Boots in the Knight Cube. That means our damage, our toughness, our healing is also double because we now have 10 instead of 5. So 10 times 50 is 500% increase in damage, and that is really cool. So now this is a little bug right now on the PTR. If you have the Credits Boots in the Knight Cube, it won't show 10 of them, but you still get that power. So that is just a little bug right there. Just because you don't see 10 doesn't mean you don't gain that power, okay? So there you go, there's 10 of them, and that's why it works. It's really cool. You get increase in damage, you get increase in toughness and healing. So the next set piece bonus is going to be the 2-piece from the Remnant of the Thousand Storms. Your spirit generators have 25% increase in attack speed and 300% increase in damage. That's cool. Next set piece bonus is going to be the Endless Walk right there for the neck and ring. While moving, damage taken is reduced up to 50%, and while standing still, which we do a lot in this build, damage dealt is also increased up to 100%. So when you're standing still right there, there's this little icon right here at the bottom, 100%, so we are at maximum, but when we are moving, that thing goes up and down. It fluctuates, it transfers over to damage reduction, but when we are standing still right now, there you go, it transferred back to damage increase. So that is how that works, and that's why it's cool. For our weapons, we are still going to be using the Shenlong Spirit, of course. The damage of your spirit generator is increased by 1.48% for each point of spirit you have. So that means that that is always going to be fluctuating back and forth. So you want to maintain that as much as possible. So right now I have 315s times that by 1.5 equals 420. So 472 increase in damage, but because of the second part of it, it keeps draining when we hit 100% of our spirit. So we always want to maintain that as much as possible. But the second piece also, when we hit maximum spirit, all damage is increased by 100% as well, which means that will also stack on top of our other buffs. So we, like I said, we want to maintain that as much as possible, as long as possible as well. So we get that 472 plus 100 more, so that's 572% increase in damage, but that is like a multiplier. So that is why we're using the Shenlong Spirit. For our rings, we will always want Unity Ring to be equipped on us. The reason is because it's actually much more easier to get versus the Ring of Royal Grandeur, which we are going to be using in the Knight Cube. So that's why we want Unity Ring here, and also it helps us to reduce damage as well. For our bracers, we're going to be using the Spirit Guards right here. It is to reduce our damage taken by an X amount whenever we're using our Spirit Generator. For the Knight Cube, we want for weapon the Flying Dragon for a chance to double our attack speed whenever we're attacking, and we want the Credits Boots for the armor, and then lastly is going to be the Ring of Grandeur so that we can get that 6-piece bonus from Inner Mantra. For the legendary gems that we are going to be using, we're using the Bane of Trap right here to increase our damage by an X amount. And then we're going to be using Simplicity Strength to increase our Spirit Generator by an X amount. And also heals us for 2% right there. And then lastly is going to be the Bane of the Stricken, which definitely helps you to kill the Griff Guardian. So that's what the gems we want to use. For Paragon levels, you want to maximize your spirit right here. So everything in spirit first, and then movement speed to 25%. And then lastly is going to be dexterity. For offensiveness, you're going to have cooldown reduction first, attack speed, critical hit chance, and then critical hit damage. And then defensiveness, you're going to have resist all, armor, life regen, then life. Lastly, utility is going to be life on hit and area damage, and then those two does not matter. Alright, so for the skills, it's pretty much exactly the same as before, except for a little tweak here and there. So for our primary skills, we're going to be using Crippling Wave with Mango so that it slows down their movement speed and attack speed by 20%. And then we're going to be using Epiphany so that with Desert Shroud, so it increases our toughness. Then we actually want a Mystic Ally on our bar. It doesn't matter which one it is, because when you activate it, because we want to activate the Mystic Allies, it's going to activate all 10 of the Mystic Allies powers. So that's really cool. That's why we want it right there. So we're going to be using Breath of Heaven right here with Infused of the Light. The reason is because that after we use it, we gain 14 additional spirit from our spirit generator for 5 seconds so that it will maintain that spirit as high as it can be. Then we're going to have Dashing Strike with Radiance right here. This is our oops what the fuck moment type of thing where we need to dash out. If you don't want to use Radiance, you can use the Blinding Speed right here to increase in toughness. Radiance is just increase in damage done, okay? So that's your choice. So lastly, it's Cyclone Strike with Implosion. Now I use this to pull every mob around me really fast, but for greater higher rifts, like 75, 80 and all that stuff, you actually want to use Inner Sanctuary with Forbidden Palace, so that your damage taken is reduced by 55% and your damage done is increased by 30%. So that's your choice in between those two if you feel like it, and that's pretty much it for the skills. Let's go into the passive skills. Alright, so we have Harmony right there to increase all our elements resistance, and then we have Alacrity right there to increase the attack speed of our spirit generator by 15%, and then we have Seize the Initiative right there to increase our attack speed as well, and then we lastly have Beacon of Ytar for the cooldown reduction. So lastly now is for the followers. So you have the choice between the Enchantress and the Templar. I use the Enchantress just to increase my attack speed right there, and then increase my armor as well and slows melee attack for you. And then she does this little Conjuring Pool thing which does let the enemies take an increase in 3% in damage. It's not that much, but it does help overall. So that is for the follower. So that is it for the guide videos. Thank you so much for watching. If it helps you out, if you like this video, a thumbs up would definitely be appreciated because it really does help me out. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And don't forget to press subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!